Nathan Chandras with Butterfly. Tell us about your company and what you guys do.
Hello, everybody. My name is Nathan Chandra. My company is called Butterfly. Is everybody familiar with influencer marketing? Okay, so what we do is we help brands scale their influencer marketing campaigns, and we've created a blockchain marketplaces that matches brands and influencers. So if you needed to have maybe 3,000 people post about a product or about your ICO, our services can help with that.
Hello everybody, my name is Ashton Addison. I'm the CEO of Event Chain Smart Tickets. We've built an event ticketing platform to help grow the community and host events yourself to accept cryptocurrency and fiat payments. I'm also a crypto influencer in the space under the channel Crypto Coin Show, and I'm also a broadcaster on Reuters Insider for blockchain and fintech news.
My name is Frank Frausto. My company, Beyond Enterprises, is an end-to-end advisory firm for businesses that are looking to incorporate either blockchain and or cryptocurrency into their business model. We work with a lot of ICOs. We also consult with and work hand-in-hand with investors, exchanges, so on and so forth. I think we currently have advised 24 different projects that are currently listed on CoinMarketCap. By way of background, I spent the previous 14 years at Google working hand in hand with some of the top different some of the top different advertisers and clients in that space, designing, developing, and implementing campaigns that are designed to sort of maximize ROI, and exited Google about a year and a half ago to join the blockchain space full-time. Very excited to be here and part of this panel.
Hi, I'm Adrienne Ashley. I'm the former #1 woman in blockchain influencer in the world, number 19 overall this week, so I've clearly been letting that slide a little. I'm a social media influencer, a television host, as well as an author, and my next book is called Minting the Future, all about raising money for your startups using ICOs. And I host a show starting next year, a nationally broadcast show on crypto. Think John Oliver, but me, funny, looking like a Fox News broadcaster. So, and then I have a naughty dating app for good girls that gets women laid, called Lolly.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Hey guys, I'm Jason Fishman. I'm a marketer. I am the SVP of Digital Strategy for a marketing agency out of Venice Beach, digital niche agency. We focus on blockchain projects, work on many ICOs, STOs, post-raise initiatives such as user acquisition, trading awareness, and overall strategy. Excited to go over our experiences, recommendations, and overall dialogue here on the panel today.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, and thanks everybody for coming. We're going to dive right in and go to Ashton again because he came up with some amazing questions, and I know you just did an ICO about a year ago, is that correct?
That's correct.
Right, so you know the process well. You raised a bunch of money, like let's say you're just a company out there who raised a bunch of money. What do you do next? Because a lot of people start spending it right away, and they don't know exactly how to spend it or where to put it. How do you build that community and keep people around?
Definitely a great question. You know, when you are raising money, you usually create a white paper or business plan that puts forth, what are you going to do with that money? And of course, the people that buy your tokens or their investors, they want to see those promises delivered, right? So you really need to make sure that your communication is key and that you deliver everything in a timely and transparent manner, right? So in 2017, near the end, there was this sort of marketing PR thing that came out saying, there's a dark zone after the ICOs have finished. And maybe just by show of hands, is anybody in here working on marketing or a part of a project that is still not done a token sale yet? You're in pre-ICO or token sale? Okay. And is anybody in here in a project that's post-token sale? Awesome. Great. So yeah, it's just a matter of making sure that you have consistent communication, I would say, right? And that goes for even thanking and welcoming new people into your community immediately after the token sale, making sure that you don't go dark.
Got it. Okay, go ahead, Jason. You think you had something?
Yeah, I love that comment of consistent communication. I've seen projects fall off there. Investors want to know, what are you doing with the funds I put into your company, into your overall ecosystem? When will you be on an exchange? How can I liquidate a portion of my investment? At what time? is your technology fully built? When are we actually going to see this brought to life? So the moment you lose consistency in your communications, you're letting people's minds go to work. And the cryptocurrency community can be tough. They can be very tough in their analyzing on different channels. So it's important to really control that narrative through content marketing channels, building out educational funnels to really encourage people to embrace everything you're doing, as well as to encourage different businesses to build on top of your protocols or platforms. If that's something that you've built out, you really want to integrate into the environment versus just wait until everything's built out.
Of course, come hang out with us at Blockchain Beach in Los Angeles. That's where a lot of that magic happens. Frank, it looks like you had a comment.
I just wanted to add one more thing, because I do think that's such an important part, is the post-ICO communication. That's where so many projects just fall apart. There's two real communities you really got to think about. One is the folks that have already invested into your ICO. Those are the folks that you have a fiduciary responsibility to let them know what's happening. And I like to always say to projects, pretend that you didn't raise an ICO. If you took money from traditional VCs, you would have to have regular meetings, you'd have to have stakeholder prospectuses, you'd have to have presentations, board meetings. How difficult is it just to have a blog post once a week about what you're doing with the funds and what's happening? That's for folks that have already invested. The other folks is you still want to drum up support for your community. Imagine if you've heard about this brand new theme park. You've heard so much hype about it, all these different rides, all these different foods, these great experiences, and when you showed up, there was nobody there, and no one was doing anything. The rides were broken, trash all over the place. No one wants to be a part of a community where nothing is happening. That communication, and Jason gave some great ideas, even doing an AMA stream or just blog posts or anything, no one wants to be a part of a community where nothing is happening. So I think that really is kind of a real critical piece of what I see.
Absolutely. Yeah, and even take a note from some of the larger corporations. They hold actual investor meetings like this in a big room where you come and ask questions and they can tell you what's going on. You can do a webinar like that. You can do a weekly email blast to all of your private investors. Yeah, definitely just communication is key. I think.
And we keep saying investors, 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 but I don't like jail. I don't look good in orange either.
Customers.
So, customers. So thinking of it like a Kickstarter is so much easier to make that analogy of how you should be communicating and giving updates and when are things going to be done and when are things going to be ready and when is it going to be useful, when can they use the tokens, rather than just when can I put it on an exchange and do a big pump campaign and take my 9-cent token to $2.47 and then liquidate all that. I mean, is that really what we want to be building, or a bunch of pump and dump shitcoins? No, I think that era is over, that ship has sailed, so we need to stop thinking about investors in those terms and really thinking about customers, because the life of your project, you have to actually have a project. You have to have a business that could function with or without, I mean, you need the token, but with or without that kind of investment scheme. And if it can't, you don't really have a business.
Yeah, and I think it's also really important to have a multi-pronged approach of how you're doing your marketing and how you're doing your communications. It's almost like this panel here. So, you do events, you get influencer marketing, you do, social media marketing, and you got to make sure that you're targeting a lot of different areas, because your community and the people that are supporting your project, they also have different ways that they move on the internet or move across social media. So you got to make sure that your messaging is getting out to a wide variety of channels.
Absolutely. Adrian, you brought up something interesting about the pump and dump schemes. And I think that an integral part of everything we're doing here are these centralized exchanges, right? I know there's a lot of decentralized exchanges that are coming up right now, and we're in a bear market, which is beautiful. It got rid of a lot of the scam projects and the projects that weren't true. People that weren't actually building stuff. Yeah, not all of them. Some people are just coming in now, and they're coming in at a good time probably. But at any rate, some of these exchanges, upwards of $6 million to get listed on them, and there's just all these requirements. They want 30% of your total supply or more.
They also want legal opinion letters. So this is the other piece of it that's really difficult if you have a project and you've launched your project already and you've already raised your money, now you want to get it on exchange, well then they want you to get a legal opinion letter, and that's anywhere from $50,000 to $250,000. And a lot of times, if you have not worked with legal from the very beginning with the understanding that it's going to be a utility, you've done something wrong and magically transformed your perfectly reasonable utility token into a security, which will then show up in your legal opinion letter, and then the exchanges go, sorry, we can't list STOs. So you need to use some kind of other liquidity or exchange or atomic swaps, or like Radar Relay. You can put it up there and transfer it for anything else, but it's peer-to-peer, and it's just a platform that allows peer-to-peer without necessarily the exchange holding the liability of it.
That's right. Yeah, and I love the idea that we talked about earlier about getting your user base while you're doing your fundraising or your community launch project where you're getting people involved.
Otherwise, you have to pay twice. I mean, you're doing all this marketing, you're doing influencer marketing, and you're doing emails, and you're doing advertising, and you're spending money. And are you really going after those 26 investors who funded Filecoin in 15 seconds so that I couldn't get any? Or are you going after building a user base, right? Because that killed me. I was like, right there, right? And I'm fast, and I got fast internet, and I still didn't get it. It's crazy. So if you're already going to be doing the press and getting all the media and getting people talking about it and building this community, don't go after just the 15 investors you need to blow out your ICO. Build your actual project.
You got it. And to touch further on that, I would say you really have to have a diverse pool of customers, as you said, and that goes for a traditional equity raise as well as a token sale, whatever it may be. Because if you only have 5 people that are token holders, there's not going to be any order books on the cryptocurrency exchange unless you somehow generate some traction on the order books for everybody to buy, because there's only going to be 5 sellers and they're going to own the majority of the tokens, right? So that's why you really need to start from the beginning, make sure that you have a diverse pool, international marketing, to allow people around the world to have at least 1,000 to a few thousand different people that have been interested in your project. And then to further that, that sets yourself up for success on the post-ICO marketing. Because if you do, if you don't do any pre-ICO marketing and then you try to start afterwards, you're really just trying to fix all the bridges that you've burnt because you haven't shown yourself in a good light before the ICO starts.
And then airdrops. Okay, that's fake community building, and that's not going to help you. We're talking about more than 5 people. You want 1,000. It's like, I'll just go on earn.com and I'll just pay them, and then I'll just airdrop to their 100,000 people. Now I got 100,000 users. No, you don't.
It's true. And but
you got 100,000 wallets with the coins just sitting there doing nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jason.
So we're touching on different metrics here, and oftentimes I'll see projects missing algorithms in terms of the actual milestones, the performance benchmarks they actually want to hit. So audience growth, people fantasize about that, right? What about engagement? What about frequency? What metrics do you actually want to be measuring? We talk about this during the ICO process, where we want to be at in what period of time, what channels we're going to test out to get there. But there's a whole world of algorithms that can be built around building a community that lasts. And we want to talk more about the value of that community too. We've all seen different projections on what a Telegram audience is worth and how it is reflected in the actual perceived valuation. Crypto crowd sales, in the worlds of crowd sales as a whole, the size of your audience projects how much you can raise. We're talking post, it projects what your project can actually do based on the size, engagement, and frequency levels. So definitely encourage that. And when looking at any marketing channels, set up tests, set up performance benchmarks that need to be met, optimize towards where you're seeing the results, and base it off measurable results, numbers.
And make sure you have security too. Try to break everything that you're doing.
Absolutely.
I think it really comes down, Jason, to what both of you said is engagement, engagement levels, and engaging the people in the community to actually become involved in the project. Now, to give some different examples, you really have to have a tokenomics system where the tokens are actually being able to be utilized either in the prototype or in the beta before the application comes out, and force people to start testing the beta or actually use the application and therefore be rewarded with tokens, right? And as you said, Andrea, just dropping tokens to people in an airdrop, I've done airdrops personally, and I know that it actually can have negative consequences because people that want to receive airdrops, they also want to receive airdrops from 50 other projects, and they probably care about those other projects as much as they care about your project. So you're really not getting people in your community that care, right? And not necessarily in the application itself, but one example is, I'm advising for Pundy X, and one of the things that they did was in the token sale, for example, they had a rate of 500 tokens per ether. But if the longer that you held onto your tokens, it actually would increase so that it would encourage people to hold onto the tokens as they're building out the platform. And therefore, if you're holding the tokens for like a year, it would actually work out to be about 1,500 tokens per ether. So you actually receive airdrops to your wallet only if you had those tokens from the ICO, and would encourage you to become a long-standing community member.
It's really about building authentic communities and taking action in doing that. We're up here talking about a bunch of theories, but for example, how many people have Telegram? Can you take out your phone, open up your Telegram? I'm trying to build my community for Butterfly. My handle is Butterfly Community. It's BUTTRFLY Community. We spell butterfly without an E. If you guys go there, join, you can follow what we're doing. It's a small community right now. It's like 55 people. So just having you guys part of my community will help grow. And
I think at me too, I'm at like 47.
You're at 47?
Yeah.
Well, see?
It's like the other way around, right? Like it's 47 people who actually care versus 200,000 people that just spam it and post naked pictures of Latino women.
Yeah, and what I'm really trying to get at is just about walking, and it's about doing, and it's about putting messaging out there and making sure you're connecting with your community. And so it's good to talk about all the theories, but it's also good just to walk down the road and get it done.
Absolutely.
So old school marketing.
And thank you for following the community. I appreciate you.
Mine's Lolly, LOLY.io, just throwing that out there. Old school internet marketing standards tell you that for every email you have in your database, it's worth $1 per month per email that you can deliver. So that's just kind of to give you an idea of what your lead generation and what your user base is worth to you. There is actually a value if those people are reading it and communicating with you. Now the other piece of post-ICO marketing when you're building, a lot of the mainstream media won't talk about crypto, they won't talk about an ICO, they won't talk about a token sale. So what is it that you're doing that's super, super awesome, sexy, and different that makes them really excited? So we're logging sexual consent on the blockchain because apparently yes and no is too ambiguous. And so we decided that we needed to create an app for that. And the talk shows are like going nuts. So the minute we have 2 people who use the app and willing to go on TV and say, yeah, we knocked boots, we're already booked on 5 shows because that's something unique and different. So you have to have that kind of a story idea to help, because that's how the other way, that is the cheapest way. Earned media, I mean, that's what Jordan was saying before, it's not pay to play for Block Telegraph. Earned media is your fastest source to get to a mainstream audience that can then grow your community as well with like really good quality people.
So if I download your app, knock boots with somebody, I can come on the TV show and then talk about butterflies.
That's right.
And I can build my community. So be creative. Be creative out here.
Absolutely.
Clear, concise messaging is recommended.
I think what it comes down to is we're in the age of personalization, customization, and face-to-face experiences, right? It's one thing to be able to read a Medium blog, each week and see, okay, the company's doing some things, but to be able to see the people, in person or even by video and be able to speak to them, to make an analogy, say you were the CEO of a public company and some shareholders want to speak to you, right? And if you're afraid of showing your face, that's a really bad impression, right? So as the executive on any company, you really need to be willing to say, hey, like, I work for this company, I need to be able to put my life on the line and say, this is what we're doing, this is why I work for the company, because I really want to achieve these goals that we've set out in the roadmap. And if you can just show people that you have a real team of real people that are working on these things and we're dedicated to those customers of the tokens, it pretty much shows the authenticity of your project. It says, hey, this is actually a project that the people care about. I can see the team right there, and we know that this is a legitimate team, right?
Absolutely, yeah. If they see that passion and the drive and they feel it, they just flock to you for sure. I've seen people walk up when there's that passion in the room and they just have like wide eyes, like, I want to work with you guys. You love what you're doing. It's so passionate. So speaking of that, geographic locations, meeting people in person. We're here in Vegas. What are some of your favorite actual hubs around the world where the community is really thriving and engaged? We've got Los Angeles, Vegas here, New York, Hong Kong, Singapore, Korea. What are some of your favorites that you visited recently and why? Anybody?
Switzerland, believe it or not, huge.
That's right.
I was just in Geneva at another conference, and it was the blockchain community there was thriving. I thought, and I was surprised. That was like my first little dip into the whole European tour. Now I'm going back. So.
He's asking if you went to Crypto Valley Labs. No.
I would say right now, concurrently with this conference, there's also the Malta Blockchain Summit, which is
That's
going
right,
on,
right now.
which EventChain has also helped sponsor, promote, and sell tickets for that event. And and one of the reasons why it's so popular is because Binance has moved there. They have really loose regulations, and they're open to innovation, right? And another country that's open to innovation is Singapore, right? And Singapore is the hub for many cryptocurrency projects in Southeast Asia. I've been there many times. I did speak alongside the MAS at the panel in front of the regulators, and they said, in person, they said, hey, if you guys have a legitimate utility project, we welcome these projects to come here. We're all about innovation. We're not there to stifle anything. And that's why so many people have had their projects move there, right?
That's right, Singapore's great. Jason?
I just got back from Tokyo, Seoul, Bangkok. All of these are great hubs. Back to my comment about testing, test, optimize, scale, see which audiences are performing best. Don't just reach out, but serve as a thought leader in those markets. Partner with the right media groups, the right influencer groups, the people who are actually having an impact on your target audience. Produce content, reach out as a contributing writer to all of the top publishers. Attend every cryptocurrency show.
Absolutely, meet everybody. You'll see the same people at every conference.
I'm really impressed with what Los Angeles is doing. And there was a summit there last week, the Crypto Invest Summit. They had, I think it was like 6,000 attendees, which is,
Yeah, it was big.
yeah, it's really big. So sometimes the best places are in your own backyard.
Oh, exactly. And we wrapped it up with the Crypto Yacht. I know some of you were there, had a good time. Yeah, Crypto Invest Summit. Crypto Yacht over there in Blockchain Beach. We only have about a minute and a half left, so if you guys are okay with it, want to let some people out there ask a quick question about this? Yeah? Okay. Quick hand over there. Just come up here. We'll hand you a mic, I guess, is the easiest way to do it. I got you. You're a star now.
My name is Corey. Thanks for being on the panel, guys. So one thing you said was like, be an influencer, be a voice, right, for the community, engage. Ideas, especially a lot of brilliant ideas, I feel like come from regular people, regular consumers, right? I feel like the blockchain space, crypto space, or any space that's evolved, especially from a technical standpoint, it's like ideas from regular people are like, they're not really received. How do you engage in the market, not being a programmer or an already influencer?
So my answer would be really simple. Come to an event like one of our community events at Blockchain Beach or this, and engage with people, tell your story, and figure out a way to relate that. Even if it's not super technical, you don't have to be. Every team needs all types of people. You need storytellers, you need builders, you need actual tech people, you need engineers. So that would be me. Anybody want to answer that question?
Yeah, I'm the co-founder of Crypto Vixens, and the one thing that our mission does is to inspire women to participate either as advisors or on founding teams. And you don't have to be technical, because you need that diversity of perspective. You need that, you're an everyday person, right? If you're the ideal customer for a particular project, they actually need to know how you think, because they might be looking at it from the wrong perspective. So you can always offer that. You can always lead focus groups. You can always, or just being ambassadors. Like we all need ambassadors. We really, really do. It is hard being a founder.
Definitely. And to further that point, Austin said it himself, show your face, show the authenticity. If you have a really good idea and you've done the due diligence, you've written a business plan, you've written a white paper, if you believe that it's a good enough idea, you will go out there and tell people, and as long as you're confident about it and can back it up with a white paper, you'll be able to have a team flock to you. You can't do it by yourself. You need to have strong teams, strong mentorship, and alliances alongside of that. But once you show that this is a passionate project and you're ready to make it into a real live project, then it's just about finding those other people that believe in you. And if you show that through your passion, your confidence, then it will happen.
And don't underestimate your skill set, not being a programmer, historical CEO, whatever it is, being able to enroll with your passion and team build. And really, I find value in individuals who can story tell and simplify what a project is in a very absorbable fashion. Meaning not the person who's been in cryptocurrency since 2010, but the one who makes it very exciting for more of a wider spread adoption.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone here on the panel. Thank you for your time. We're out of it here. Thank you guys in the audience for listening and participating. We appreciate you. Big thanks to Adam and Dominic and everybody else on the World CryptoCon team for putting this on, and the Blockchain Beach team here, Maddie and Kai, thank you. Everybody else, thanks a lot, guys. Take care.
All right, nice work, Austin Davis. You guys killed it. Great panel, guys. Awesome. Awesome. Nice to
You gotta
meet
run
you.
to the main stage.
Yeah, man. Good job.
Excuse me. Quick question. What are you guys doing? You're gonna post some of the recording?
So,
What is going to be?
It was live on YouTube.
It's gonna be on YouTube.
It was live on, I think,
we have a
Kai's YouTube.
keynote next.
Okay, so I can.
Let me grab her real quick.
Please, thank you
Yeah,
so much. I
we'll
really
find out
appreciate
where it is. What's her channel called?
From Yosub Kwon. He's going to talk, he's with Hosho. He's going to talk about the importance of blockchain security. Do we have Yosub Kwon here? Here he is. Guys, give it up for Yosub Kwon.
Greetings. My name is Yosef Kwon. I'm here to speak with you today about the importance of security in your organization and for yourself. I think it's a very critical topic, and I don't think it's talked about nearly enough in this industry. It's impossible for me to, in this short window of time, tell you all the things that you should do in your organization. Every organization is different, but
All right, guys.
in this,
I will be
short window
going
of time,
upstairs.
I can impart
That was a great
some,
panel. I will see you guys on
knowledge
the
and
next
also,
live. I'm making my way
why
upstairs.
Why security is important to you in your organization. What it is
How are
that
you? Look at your shirt. Someone give her some Bitcoin. This is her wallet. Someone scan that and give her some Bitcoin. This girl is. I was thinking about you so much. How are you? Are you going up to see Brock?
So I'd say the most compelling reason
Is he coming on now?
to prioritize security
the art
is just
guy and then Brock.
the repercussions.
So I gotta go live.
Over $1 billion
Here and
was
here,
stolen
you're live.
just
Oh, you did it
this
both.
year.
Yep.
Nice.
Kai
About
Primo
2%
on
of the money
YouTube,
raised in
and then
ICOs
just
Live on
was
YouTube?
stolen.
Yeah, bro, just keep
And,
it.
Alright.
You were
and
great.
generally, I think
Thank you.
That's my boy Austin.
Oh, we're still here.
Very
Yeah, yeah.
important.